Go to Lynn in Orlando, Florida. What's up, Lynn?
Hi, how are you, Dr. Delony?
Partying. What are you up to?
I'm just sitting down here in sunny Orlando.
Well, just kick us while we're done. Actually, it's nice in Nashville today, so haha. There you go.
Beautiful.
What's up?
My call today is really just based on I have an adult daughter who in the past has been a little deceptive.
Say that again. She's been what?
A bit deceptive.
How long?
I guess I don't like to say lying, but just not being completely honest with my husband and I.
Okay, can I stop you right there? I have a bad habit of interrupting. I know. I just love to get the data points
That's
really
okay.
quick.
Sure.
How long?
Well, she's 25 now, and this is probably when she went off to school when she was about 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. So 19.
And where in the world did she learn to not say exactly what it is, but to kind of use other words that kind of were skirted around it a little bit? That's me joking right now. Because you're like, I don't want to call her a liar. I just want to call her deceptive.
It just sounds less,
of course.
It sounds nicer.
In her 18-year-old mind, I wasn't hammered. I had like 2 drinks.
No.
I had 2 drinks. We weren't sleeping together, Mom. I just stayed too late.
Yeah.
So I just want to point that out. Go ahead.
Yes. So, it was more or less just like, I guess a year of schooling. She said she was in class and she was not. Mm-hmm. She was, I guess, for her words to us was that she had this paralyzing anxiety and couldn't show up in class. So,
what about that do you not believe? Because you don't believe her. I can tell in your voice you don't believe her. It's okay if you don't. Just tell me.
Her. I do believe her just based on I've had prior to that, she did have an episode when she was younger, like where she did cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Not horrible. I guess it's not good or bad, but she did do it. She didn't tell us about it, but I did see it because, I'm pretty observant. There's 4 of them. So I was, anyway, so I did notice that she was doing that, brought it up to her because I saw it. She was very forthcoming, and I took her to see a therapist. And I thought we had moved on. I didn't see any more indication of that. She was at the point, at that time I thought she was being very open. But then, anyway, so moving forward, we thought she wanted to go to school. We, prepared for her to do that as parents do. And, lo and behold, when, we needed verification that she had been in school, she had to come clean. So she didn't do it willingly. She just did it because it was basically by default. So coming to the present day, she was living in Tallahassee still, met a guy while she was there, and they were in a relationship for quite some time. And just recently, she told us some pretty troubling news, which is quite personal, but for the sake of it was not good. But the whole time she was still lying to us about like what she was doing and what her life was all about. So we were, I guess, painstakingly, we were proud of her because, from what she was doing while she was in school, we were back on that trust train again, trying to trust her again. And then lo and behold, like within the last couple of months, had that kind of news. But so now she's like, she got out of it. She was with a boy. She was with a boyfriend and they broke up. She made some really, really bad financial decisions with him. Very expensive financial decisions. And so she's no longer with him, but now she's with a new boyfriend, and she's doing a lot of behavior. Like I said, she's, smoking daily. She's drinking more than she has ever. She's never been a big drinker that I know of. And I'm just concerned with her current state.
How old is she, Lynn?
She's 25.
And you have 4 other kids. Where does she fall? What order?
She's the oldest.
The oldest. And tell me about Dad.
Like just like who he is, or
Yep.
what kind of father he is, or okay. So he, I mean, she's a lot like him. So I guess she just, she's kind of one of
Tell
those
me about
that,
him.
okay, so he doesn't like to. He's kind of likes to live in oblivion. Like if there's, there's a lot of issues that he has, but he likes to push them underneath the carpet. Doesn't
Such
like to really
as?
deal with a whole lot.
Such as?
Maybe
You've spent the last
anger
25
issues.
years of your relationship covering up for this dude. I'm asking you, just tell me about him.
I guess not emotionally available.
Okay. So,
but very sensitive. Like sensitive
yes.
to, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wrote down 2 words when you started talking.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 words are connection and pressure. The behaviors you're describing with your daughter are behaviors I've seen 1,000 times working with college students for 2 decades. Here's
Mm-hmm.
what it is. It is a young child screaming for the 2 adults in in her life not to play with, although that's a part of, but to connect. Do you see me? And a dysregulated child that is not fully plugged in will try to plug into 100 different things. When you're trying to plug in, that pressure will build and build and build. And I can control it sometimes through eating or not eating. I can control it through cutting. I can control it through athletic achievement. I can control it even through straight A's.
Mm-hmm.
It ultimately manifests itself into high anxiety. And
Mm-hmm.
what makes anxiety go away? Weed, alcohol, Percocet. It stops it for a while until it kills you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? Buying things. What else? Intimate relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the behavior, I mean, it's just she's following a track. The second thing is the word sensitive, it has such a negative connotation in our culture, which I just hate. I am extra sensitive to certain things. All of us are. Some people are extra sensitive to how much jalapenos they can have in their queso. Some are extra sensitive to, they walk into a room and can just feel something's off.
Mm-hmm.
I can walk up to somebody and look at them and say, you're not okay. You don't have to talk to me about it, but I want you to know that I see you and I care about you. And I'll walk away. 9 times out of 10, that person will reach out and be like, I don't know who you are, you weird sorcerer. But there's a sensitivity, okay?
Mm-hmm. Right.
When you have an older child who is born highly sensitive, and then they get the weight of the family put on them because dad's unavailable. It's trying to hold, like, just think about holding like workout plates above your head and your arms start shaking and shaking and shaking. And so the question is that as a 25-year-old, here's what I'm going to tell you. She doesn't need any more advice. She doesn't need any more threats or any more, if you just do this is, then this is. Because there's been a continual, my relationship to you, her dad's relationship to her, has been contingent on performance. If she doesn't do a thing or she does do a thing, then you get us. You get our money, our support, our love, a seat at our table.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
I do.
And so the only way through it is a complete and utter reversal of how y'all have done it. And if dad won't be involved, dad's not going to be involved. But she's going to have to hear you say those words. Dad didn't plug it. Go ahead.
He's available, but I mean, I don't know how,
he's
I know
present but not available, which I think is actually more caustic to a kid.
Okay.
An absent father, a father who moves away. I mean, you can look at the data. It's really damaging.
Mm-hmm.
But a dad who sits on the couch and stares off into space, or a dad who stares at his laptop, makes a kid insane because the kid is wondering what is so great, because it's all relationship for a child. That's how they see the world. And so they want to know what is so appealing and beautiful and wonderful about that laptop that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And you take a sensitive, what is so important about that client? Why is that client so much more beautiful than me, Dad? And she will try to answer that question forever and ever and ever. And when you're 12, you don't have any resources to answer questions. And it just bottles and traps and traps and traps and traps. And that's when cutting goes, whew, it lets some of the steam out.
Yeah, that's how she described it. Because we actually have a very. I always think. They're always very forthcoming. Eventually with me, but it's usually when it's coming to fruition. Like they don't really have a choice.
But you are conflating relationship with information.
Okay.
Y'all pass information back and forth to each other.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like with this, there's because I feel like I just don't really know how to take if she says something, or if she tells me that something is her reality, or this is her situation. I don't know to really trust her, because every time that
why wouldn't you hold her hands and look her in the eye and say, I totally trust you. I'm not going to give you any money. That's not where we're at right now.
Right.
But I hear you, and I'm so heartbroken for you, and you are always welcome at our house. And
yes, and I believe that they do believe that, because we've had that so many times. I know they know that they can come here, and that we're always here to help them.
But
I don't know what this. She just does stuff, and then she just it comes out, and you're like, well, why? I don't understand why you would do that, or why you would think that was okay, or you know what I mean. And then I don't know how
can you?
If I'm not articulating it correctly, but
you're articulating it great. I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. I just want you to look at your relationship with your oldest daughter, your baby girl.
Yeah.
And ask if a relational approach of judgment at all costs, what has that got you?
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest trying a path of curiosity and love over judgment. She knows you don't approve of what she's doing. You don't have to keep saying that.
Right.
What she's desperate for is you to take her out for coffee and say, I've got some things I never told you.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell her about that boy that was hurt you deeply before you met her dad, and how hard it has been to be in a relationship with somebody that you love deeply, but who is emotionally absent. And maybe you didn't cut, and maybe you didn't fill in the blank, but you did have some coping strategies because you've made it this far.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, you've been a single parent with a guy sitting on the other end of the couch. You know what she's going through. And sometimes when I see something in my son, I know what he's doing because I did the exact thing. I'm overzealous about it because I don't want him to hurt like I did. And in the process, I push him away because he doesn't have a context for my pain yet. And so when I say connect...
So you're saying that her behavior is more or less because of the relationship between her, she has with her dad, or... is there,
What I'm saying is you see the world in cause and effect. Either or. This because that. Everything for you is an algorithm. And I'm telling you, it's way more complex than that. So 1,000 different things could have led to this moment. What I'm telling you at this point is it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm telling you is you have a 25-year-old daughter who is desperate to know her mom and to know that her mom sees her and loves her and trusts her.
Mm-hmm.
Because you say, my kids know they can come home. Your daughter's behavior over the last 5 years suggests she doesn't know that. Or she knows she can come home, but it's not worth it. Because we're going to have to do this and have all these lectures and discussions. And why are we doing all these things? And I'm not saying those are all bad. What I'm saying is she needs to know you're a human, not in a spreadsheet.
That doesn't make sense because with everything that's, going on, where, I don't make the whole, we get together quite frequently, but I don't talk to her about it. If she brings it up, I may say, well, where are you, with that? Just, are you making any headway, so you can get out of that situation so you can move forward? And she's like, I just don't want to talk about it with you.
Right.
So I don't know.
It's a safety
issue.
issue.
What I mean?
It's a safety
parent,
issue.
I don't want to just, okay.
And
I just don't know.
In your mind,
I help her, or does she know that we're available there?
In your mind, a conversation means you are supporting her decisions. Holding her hand across the table at a coffee shop and looking her in the eyes and telling her, I've never cut, but I've done this.
Okay.
I've had to survive too. And I'm telling you that because I've hidden this from you because I want to be the strong one, and those days are over now. I love you. I love you too much to let you go through this by yourself. And No, I'm not going to move my values. My values are here because of what I've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But if all we needed was for the good life was a textbook, we would just read one.
Right. Yeah.
But we need relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And my guess is you and I could talk for another 5 hours. You've probably had to turn some of that off in your life to survive. And not survive, not to death, but survive sanity-wise.
Yes, you're not wrong about that.
Okay. And there's a terrifying fear that if you open that door even a crack to somebody, especially to your daughter, that you will lose control and never be able to close that door back. Am I right?
You're not wrong.
You can't even say it. I love it. You can't say the words, you are right, and I was wrong. It makes my heart.
Right.
It's so good.
Why do you pick up on those things?
So listen.
Yes.
Here's what your daughter knows. Okay. Can I just cut to the chase, real direct? But I want to say it in a level.
That's exactly what I want.
You and I are having fun at this point, okay? But I'm being serious.
Yes. Okay.
Your daughter knows you're not telling the truth too. She learned it from you.
Okay.
She learned that we've got to hide certain things so that we can stay in relationship with people, so that we can eat, so we can not get hurt, so we can stay safe, so that somebody will help us with our tuition, because we can't tell the full story. And we learned it from mom, because mom had to put part of herself in a closet so that she could survive. And the only way through that is for you to open the closet door and show your daughter a little bit of what's in there. Not guts and gore and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But she's got to know her mom knows her and loves her anyway. And here's what I'm telling you. If I'm you, I would sit down and have some sort of conversation about this. I have tried to love you through giving you advice and wisdom for so long. Those days are over. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to invite you in. I want you to know there's always a standing offer for my wisdom and my advice, for whatever that's worth. Mm-hmm. From this point forward, I want my daughter back. And I'm going to go first. There's some stories about me that you don't know that I want you to know.
Okay. I can do that.
Can you?
Yes, I actually can. I mean, it's going to be uncomfortable, but, because you try to be the strong person for your kids. And
sometimes being the strong person comes across as highly inauthentic and deceptive. Or, to say it another way, sometimes the strongest, most powerful thing you can do is tell somebody, I'm not okay. Literally, like physically speaking, the hardest I've ever been hugged was from an active SEAL who'd gotten back from deployment, had some challenges, and was hugging me so hard I couldn't breathe. And they were weeping so hard they couldn't breathe. That was strength. That was bravery. That was power. That's what I'm talking about. And that person's a close friend to this day. Your daughter's got all the rules she knows. She's got all the values she knows. And I'm not saying you become a doormat, not at all. You hold true to your values. But it's time that your daughter got to meet her mom. And it's time you look her in the eye and say, I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do, so I went to rules. I went to regulations. And I pushed you away. I'm sorry. From this point forward, I want my daughter back.